Oh, man.
I predicted the future yesterday, Paul, at least in my head. I did.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can't even remember if I said this on the podcast. I know we talked about I nuked my machine, but
Mm-hmm.
part of that process means I have to remap the network drive from this box down here so that I can access the files and just rip them that way. And I grabbed as the podcast, or Paul and I were hanging up, I was like, I'm going to send you a string of text. Just ignore it. That's the string I need to go get the shared drive upstairs. I pasted the string in. I'm like, he's going to comment on this. I know it's going to happen. And I hit enter.
Let that go.
And send. And by the time I get upstairs, Paul goes, "Wow, you didn't rename that computer?" I was like, "I knew it. I knew it was going to happen."
So to understand why I had to comment, if you Windows 10 and Windows 11, I don't remember if Windows 8 did this, automatically assigns a machine name, right? It doesn't ask you to do one at setup. Although actually Windows 7 does optionally. And those names always have a name like desktop dash 6US 3GI or whatever, And that was the name of Brad's machine, and I was like, couldn't you just had to use the default name, huh? That helps you understand what computer it is.
In my defense, well, first off, as I told Paul, I did not name my dog. I had a small vote in the name of my child. So why name the PC? Why name the PC?
Passingly agree with it.
Yes. It's like, it's like, as long as it's not like Humidor or something like crazy or whatever, it'll be fine.
Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
But usually the way I name PCs is when I'm installing. Like I've never, that's not true. I have reinstalled Windows on this one once, but like this one is just called This is just called Book 3. That's all. Book 3.
Yeah, exactly. A simple name where at a glance you understand what it is. Yeah.
And so that one I believe is actually one of the like the one upstairs is called Workstation.
Sure.
Whatever. And I think this is the only one I've never named, so I always just know that the random.
This is a good example of, overly technical people with geeky interests, overthinking things, right? Back in the day, back when I lived in my first house in Dedham, so before the last house a long time ago, I decided I was going to give all my machine names, and I used to have servers at home and all kinds of stuff. They were going to be named after locations or names in the James Bond books. So the core server was called GoldenEye because that was the name of Ian Fleming's home in Jamaica. And they all had stupid names like that. And not names of movies like you would recognize, but they were...
Do you have any small ones named Odd Job?
No, like I said, no, it's nothing from the movies. These are all book locations that were kind of
okay.
A little more obscure. But see, the problem with that kind of thing, other than just what I just said is stupid, is then you have to think about what it is. You know what I mean? Like what you just said, Book 3. You're like, yeah, I know. Anyone would look at that and know exactly what that is. And more important, you would because you're the one who's doing it. And I spent a lot of time like parsing. I'm like, okay, what was that thing? I'd get a new computer and it would get some random name from some James Bond thing, and I'd be like, you could give them like Star Wars names, and like the server's called the Death Star, and that makes sense because and it's like, yeah, just call it server. Call it server.
Yeah. Anyways, here we are on Tuesday.
This has been a weeks-long string of nothing, with regards to news. Google I/O is registration's open. If you're into that, I am. Google or Microsoft Build, the session catalog part of it at least is happening. If you want to see what's going on there, if you're interested in futility, search for Windows.
Walking Cat has found a couple sessions.
What's that?
Walking Cat has found a couple sessions, and I don't even know if they're in that catalog yet, but they're related to the metaverse and NFTs.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be all that stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing, well, we know, like we said yesterday, Maui's happening, so I'm interested in that for sure. I don't know. I just don't see big new Windows stuff.
I was trying to think like what the big new Windows stuff is Maui. I mean, that's it. And right. And God, that's not great. It's such a subset of the full capabilities. I looked at using Xamarin to do like a simple version of that Notepad app I was doing, and it was just futile. It just, and I'm hoping this is a little better, just to kind of see. Yeah. It'd be cool to create a cross-platform version of it for no reason, other than just to do it, Yeah, this mobile thing, I don't
this was Windows 8, right? Which is what I'm writing about now, and we've never really escaped from it. That we're just trying to make this make sense, and I maybe stop trying.
You know what you should do? You should, and I don't even know if this statement's going to be true, but I'm going to say it anyways. You should make the world's first mica notepad.
Mica notepad. I'm probably not the first if I were to do that.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's out there with it.
I'd like to make a web app version of it, like a PWA kind of a thing. I feel like that's, I don't know. It's right. I feel like we're on the edge of this, You ever install like the Google Drive client?
Yeah.
On Windows. If you do that, you get, or optionally, you can get icons for like shortcuts for docs, sheets, and whatever the presentation thing's called. And probably show and play or something, whatever it is. And they just open in a web browser tab, right? You could, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a way to make that happen in a web app, like a standalone window or whatever. But it's, I think for a lot of people, that's kind of what you want to get to Google app or Google Docs or whatever, and it opens Google Docs. It's kind of a Chrome OS-y kind of experience. I don't know.
I got to give Apple another $1 a month, which I'm really annoyed about this.
Is this for iCloud storage for backup purposes?
Why can't I pay?
That's how they get you.
Why can't I pay for the year? Why?
I know. I hate that. I don't here. Yeah, because you want to save a little bit of money. Like, what do you? Are you on like the 99-cent plan, or does it like
it's 50 gigs? Like we had 20 gigs, and then the problem is iMessage, and now my daughter has an iPad.
Yep. No, that's how it happens. Exactly. Yeah. I usually have had an iPad. I've always kind of had an iPhone, though they don't use it too much. My kids both have iPhones, so everyone's backing up.
Yep.
And which is what you want, and then that's where you get over the threshold. I know their threshold was designed for this exact purpose, and it's like give them a couple bucks a month or $1 a month. It starts at $1. It's like it's probably $1.03 or something after tax.
I got to tell you, Paul, I've spent more time contemplating upgrading at $1 a month than I do like blowing like $50 on whatever. I know.
In fact, I suspect part of your investigation there was, all right, well, if I'm going to give them $1 a month, does it make any sense to give them like $3 a month and I get all this extra stuff or something? And you kind of go through that, and this is
If my car did Apple Music, like I have no loyalty to Spotify in any regard.
Right.
But my car doesn't do Apple Music, at least not easily, and I'm not doing the Bluetooth crap, so I'm stuck on Spotify. But like that's the next jump is, all right, well, my stupid car will play stupid Apple Music, and now
my kids use Spotify, and they have zero interest in even looking at anything else. And I use YouTube Music for a few different reasons, but they're one of the last services that lets you import your own music and keep it there in the cloud and stream it and all that stuff. And the other option for that would be Apple Music, because they do iTunes Match, and that's a capability. And honestly, we're at the point now where there's 70 zillion songs in the cloud. I mean, there's only a couple things I have now that aren't really in the cloud, other than live performances and things you might get on YouTube or whatever. And at one point I just went to the kids and I was like, hey, I'm paying for Spotify Family, which is probably $15 a month now. And I'm paying for YouTube over here. And this is like $25 a month. I mean, if we just did Apple Music, I would make that transition. And they were like, yeah, no. Both of them were like, no. Like they didn't even, Apple Music to them was like not even worth, it was like I asked them to access the internet using MSN,
Your kids still live at home, Paul?
No, they don't. Oh, you'll listen. What's more expensive, kids living at home
or Spotify?
Yeah, I mean, well, we pay for a lot more than that, but
yeah. Anyways, here we are on a Tuesday, waiting for a Wednesday.
Anything to happen? Yeah.
Somebody.
Is there a comet coming? At least something exciting.